How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another awesome episode of Trailmakers Creations by ThatDomGuy. Today we're going to be starting with a viewer challenge. The challenge was this: build a car that has 4 seats, windows that roll down, a hood, a trunk, and an engine. I was all over that. So let's see what I came up with. So as we see, we have the blue car sitting here. Again, funky design. It's not the best looking car I've ever built, but it is a car. We can look inside and see that it's got 4 seats. 4 actual seats that you can drive from any of them. So let's just jump in the passenger side. Actually, let's jump out and get in the driver's side. That just feels right. There we go. So in the driver's side, we can do a little over 100 kilometers an hour. Drives pretty good. It is a car. There's a couple of extra things that I put on this thing as well, which we'll get to. So the first thing is got to be the hood, which is H. There's a couple little sparks there, but once it gets open, it's open, and we can see there is an engine inside. It's even running. Also helps for stabilizing the vehicle. So we have that inside there. H will close that up. We have L, obviously, which is too easy for the lights. We got lights there. On the back, we have brake lights. So when you hit S, you get to your brake lights. We also have turn signal. So when we turn this way, we have a turn signal. We have a turn signal to go left and right. It will flash whenever you hold A or D. That's as simple as just putting a repeating pattern on the light itself. So, windows. Alright, so we have Q and E. Q is our driver's side window. E is the passenger side window. And then we have Z and X, which are for our back windows, which are all controllable independently. So we can roll all the windows down. There you can see the 4 seats in there. So we have windows that roll down. And the only thing this thing doesn't have is a trunk. But I thought, you know what's better than a trunk? I think a big fold-out weapon system is better than a trunk. Wouldn't you agree? Leave a thumbs up if you think that's a better choice. So we just hit left shift. And then all kinds of damage. We have explosive cannons, we have small cannons that all fold out from the side. We can hit left shift to turn that off. G closes up the guns, and everything closes up peachy keen. Just like that. Just like that, huh? That's how we do those things, huh? So, I hope that meets your challenge requirements. I'll put that challenge out there as well to anybody else that plays Trailmakers. I know there's a lot of other good builders out there. It was fun to build. Difficult to try and come up with ways to make the windows actually roll down and keep everything compact, which is why you get this bizarre design. But yep, G opens up the guns. Weapon system's kind of cool. Left shift to fire. Lots of damage. This is called Carpe Diem. Seize the day. So that is on the shop. Thanks for the challenge. That was fun. Let's get on to our next build and see what else we got for you. So our next build we're going to be taking a look at here, inspirational build, is a sub that is also a hovercraft that can also fly. So it's a nice combination, nice mixture. What was fun about this build was using the altitude sensors to program your hover pads to kick in and turn off when you're a certain elevation above the water or just below the water. I've also got some wings on the side here that fold down. Well, you'll see once we get up to the surface of the water. So as a sub, we just hit space, holding that space bar. This will get us up. We do about 70 kilometers an hour as a sub. As you can see, we got decent control as well. Got some flames out the back. Once you get to the surface of the water, your hover pads kick in. They protrude out the front. And the wings also fold down at an angle to keep you just slightly up off the water. And then you are basically a hovercraft at this point. Once that transforms, and again, you just push W to dive down into the water, and it automatically flattens itself out. Changes back into sub mode. So you can see that our hover pads aren't sticking out anymore, but if we watch when we come up to the surface, as soon as we break the surface, the hover pads drop and the wings drop. So that we don't have friction from the body. Yeah, it gets a little squirrely there on the surface. Okay, come on, turn, 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 and that's why we're a sub. We can sink into the water, keep going. So yeah, we can come up to the surface nice and shallow, pull back. She skips across the top here. Once we get it stabled out, we got decent speed. Got turning with our fins in the back here. There's also a helicopter engine in there as well. So that at speed we can actually turn. And when we're zipping along the surface like this, we can hit left shift, which toggles our anti-gravity mode or mass reduction mode, otherwise known as gimbals. And makes us just a little bit lighter so that if we pull back on the stick, we can actually fly. Once you get above the water, as you can see, the hover pads fold back up, the wings go straight again, so that we have optimal flight conditions. So we can turn like this. There's only 4 gimbals that basically just keep it light enough that it can actually fly in the air. As you can see, we're not moving that fast. As far as flying, I can let go of the thrusters. See, we have a slow fall. But we're a sub as well, so we can fall into the water too. So we can fly like this. We can turn off left shift, turn off mass reduction, and just dive right into the water. Good to go. Come back up to the surface, transform back into hovercraft mode. If you go too high, you can actually pop right out of the water as well and go straight into flight mode without going with kind of bypassing hovercraft mode. So this is kind of bouncy just because it's a bizarre shape. But this inspired me for our next build that we're going to be taking a look at. The way these fins come down in the water like that. It's like, hey, that's actually a good way to make like a hydrofoil type effect. So like I said, you can't dive into the water. And then just dive, shoot straight up out of the water. And straight into flight mode. So something like this would be great if you had a bomb on it that you could fly over top of a target, approach in the water, fly up over the land, and then dive back into the water and make a nice stealthy escape. So that is called the Predator. That is on the shop. If you're interested in taking it apart, disassemble it, or just flying around in it, go check it out. Let's take a look at our next build. Oh, quality landing. Quality landing. Right, so the next build we're going to be taking a look at is aquatic as well. Like I said, it was inspired by that hovercraft, by the Predator. This uses, again, swept down arms, and this is a hydrofoil. This is called the Hydrofrog. As you can see, compared to the size of the character, it's actually pretty big, large flat area. Designed to be like a transport vehicle or a stealth vehicle, super low, radar can't see it. So for steering, it's got our stabilizers on top here on servos. It's got them on the back as well, and those are offset. But the skiing effect that it has when it's on the surface of the water, when it's hydrofoiling, is actually the cool part, is what makes it look really cool. And it also does about 300 kilometers an hour as a hydrofoil. So you can see the bottom is covered in thrusters down here, which obviously don't work in the water. And we have a bunch of our water propellers here on either side to keep us going in the water. It also has speed sensors that are set, I believe it's set to 70, 65, 70 kilometers an hour. That triggers a whole bunch of different things, like all the thrusters on the belly. So they're not going to work in the water, but once we get up to speed, and the only way we can get up to speed is being out of the water. So as soon as we come out of the water and start picking up a bit of speed, those thrusters automatically kick in, which gives us more speed and pulls us up out of the water, which allows us to hydroplane. So let's jump in here and see how she works. So spacebar is our additional underwater propellant. It automatically wants to use some of the underwater propellers to keep you buoyant, so that when you dive back into the water, you don't sink straight to the bottom. But spacebar gives you your extra speed that you're going to need. Again, it's not super fast underwater, but once we get up to the surface, so you've got some hinges there, we get up to the surface, breaks the surface, our legs extend out, it pulls itself up out of the water, and we are hydroplaning. Super, super small amounts of those fins touching. As you can see, the speed, 270. So at this point, we don't even need to hang on to anything. Everything is automatic, all connected to that speed sensor. Anything above 70 kilometers an hour kicks in all our thrusters. So the cool thing with the Hydrofrog is the way he steers. See how his feet actually extend out? So he's like he's skiing. So you can like slalom. You can turn full sharp corners as well. You can see the slope on the front feet and the back legs as well. It's got some pistons that extend out when you go to steer. It also has additional thrusters on those feet when I'm turning that way, so I get that extra thrust. You can lift all the feet out of the water and use all the thrusters by holding down A and D. As you can see, he lifts himself up. The old Hydrofrog. So this is basically, I could see this as like a transport. Right? You can put a vehicle on top there, put a magnet to hold something. Of course, it's obviously not going to work that well when you add that much extra weight to it. See how hydroplaning requires very delicate balancing. So it's got a couple UFO engines on there on the back as well. I wanted to try and give it a little more oomph without just continuously adding weight. So those are a great way of doing that. Kind of a cool design as well. Large, flat. I wanted to try and make it big as flat a hydrofoil as I could. And this guy does have enough speed that if you shoot out of the water too quick, so see, we'll push W to go down. Again, everything folds up the way it should when it gets below 70 kilometers an hour. If we come shooting too steep up out of the water, it will fly. It was never designed to fly. I think there's like 4 little tiny wings on this thing, and that's about it. Oh, we have to be over 70 kilometers an hour for our UFO engines to kick in. But that's kind of a safety in a sense, I guess, so that you can't fly up in the air because of those UFO engines too much. There's just no lift generated by this thing. So the feet that he's got on there are basically some... Let's see, get into the water. Slow your roll, buddy. So the feet that work is a sloped 4x4. Oh, we're on the ground. Wow. Whoa! A sloped 4x4 connected to a couple of the large paddles. And you only need like a 10 degree or maybe a 15 degree slope on it, and it gives you enough that it'll lift almost anything out of the water. Unless it's like super extreme weight. Those seem to work really well as far as hydrofoiling. That was a really fun build as well. I will be uploading that to the shop if anyone else is interested in modifying that or playing around with it. The Hydrofrog. Alright, and now we're going to take a look at the build that I've been working on for a while. It's something that I've been wanting to build since I started playing this game, and I finally did it. And now I want to share it with you guys. Let's have a look. Go, Froggy, go! Alright, so the last build for this video. This one I'm really excited about. I really like this. This is the DOZEPEDE. So this is a 12-legged centipede, but as far as I could go with a complexity limit. It's a fairly simple build, not too complicated, but it does something that I've been trying to do for a long time, like you said. I wanted to make like an insect, a walker, a crawler, that was also a climber. So like a spider that would be able to go up a wall, or climb up these big round tubes, or up the side of that mountain, or just basically climb like an insect that has the ability to stick to stuff. So we can see here on the bottom of this thing, we've got some upside down little propellers, which I use for my downforce. They're nice and small. Thought about using UFO engines again, hover pads upside down. They're just big, they're loud. I was trying to keep it as hidden as possible. Unfortunately, the small thrusters don't have enough oomph to actually keep you stuck to the wall compared to the weight that they have. But these small propellers have a lot of torque, a lot of pull. So putting them upside down actually keeps me down to the wall. I have them connected to the angle sensor in the head there on either side of the head, so that once it gets to a certain angle, that's when the propellers will kick in and keep everything to the back. I've also got a couple of thrusters on the body and a couple of big thrusters there in the front, just to give it that little bit of forward oomph, because again, no traction. That'd be real great, devs, if you could give us some feet, something with like 99% traction on the ground. That would be fantastic. Make it small like the anchor block so we can make feet out of it for our walkers. But anyways, I digress. So, the sensors here that look like the ears in the front, when it gets within 3 feet, 4 feet of an object in front of it, it actually activates the hinges in the back of the body here, so that the front end gets lifted up so it'll climb over whatever it is that's in front of it when it sees an object in front of it. And it's also aquatic, so we can walk in the water, we can work in the water, which is why it's got the sub seat on there and the propellers on the back. But basically it's just hinges and pistons for legs. And then of course we have our suspension for feet to take the oomph. So let's see how this thing walks. So really simple controls. Number 1 toggles the walking cycle. A and D is for steering, and space, as you can see, gives us extra thrust when we need it, like coming out of the water or coming up over a crest of a curve where you don't quite have the angle to have those engaged, so you can use the space bar to give yourself that extra push there. So we'll hit number 1 and we'll check out the walking cycle. I tried to make it like a centipede where they're moving one slowly after the other. Let's have a look. Number 1. So you can see we have the weak hinges in the body. There's no timing in those whatsoever. They just flop on their own with the cycling of the foots. So again, in the water, once you get into the water, the propulsion, the water jets automatically kick in. So as you can see, you actually moves pretty smoothly in the water. It's kind of a creepy thing to see creep along the bottom of the water. But he does climb out of the water as well. That's why I have the space bar on there, so that say if you were to come to a pillar like this, he's going to sense it. His head will go up. And if we can get enough of those thrusters out of the water, then he'll start pulling himself up. If. That's a big if. There you go. Come on. Get out of there, buddy. Come on. There you go. There you go. Get up there. Come on. Get up there. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Oh, here we go. He's upside down. And he's actually a pretty tough climber, so we'll turn around here. Let's see what he does. Let's see. With an object in front of him, we'll say, what if the container was in front of him? So, let's see. There's a container, so you can see the front end gets lifted up. As long as I keep steering in towards the container, he'll grab a hold of it. Oh, he busted a leg. It's actually pretty good. There's a sensor on the bottom that flips him over. So you can see he self-rights himself. Just like an insect, he's missing some legs, but he's still going. Still going. So let's rebuild him. Say, hey man, I want to try that again with Mr. Blue Container here. Let's see if we can get this guy to go up and over. Up and over. That's it. And he just pushes that thing right up, right over. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, he's folded himself upside down. That's okay. He'll self-right himself. Oh, he's really infatuated with that container. Alright, there you go. We'll give him a little turn. No flying bugs. No flying bugs. Oh, yeah. Hey, man. Where are you going? Let's go back down to the ground, shall we? He's not supposed to fly. Insects, right? They just adapt. Okay, hey, get down. Okay, so let's take him over to the wall. So this is, I'm not doing nothing right now. He walks all on his own. As you can see, when he gets to the wall, he'll lift his head up and those thrusters will engage and he will start climbing. At this point, I'm just steering. Little taps left and right. It's a little herky-jerky with all those pistons and hinges all moving at the same time. This thing in a multiplayer game is, yeah, it looks pretty sketchy. But as you can see, you can climb up those hills, no problem. So let's take him to maybe someplace a little more difficult to climb. Someplace where having 12 legs might come in handy. So let's say maybe that archway there. You think you can climb that archway? Let's do some rock climbing, buddy. See what you can do. I'm just steering. That's all I'm doing. You climb. All you. All you. Ooh, what about this? This looks kind of challenging. You up for it? Can you do it? Come on, Mr. Bug. Climb, climb, climb. A little steer to the left, a little steer to the right. There you go. Get those foots in there. Get a foothold. There you go. There you go. Don't give up. Never quit. There you go. Climb that sucker. Keep on going. Keep on going. You can do it, man. Don't go over the edge. Don't go over the edge. Don't do it. Come on. Get up there. Get up there. Come on. Almost there. Almost there. Get up there, buddy. Get up there, buddy. Oh, 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 oh. Stay on the rock. Stay on the rock. Oh, and he's going to fall off. Oh, we made it up to the top. Oh, now he's just taking all kinds of damage. Okay. Walk it off, buddy. Walk it off. Walk it off. Oh, this is not going to be good. This is going to hurt. Down you go. Down you go. Oh, multitudes of pieces. So yeah, that is the DOZEPEDE. I've been trying to build a creature like this that walks like this for a long time. And it was actually easier than I thought it was going to be. So that's all I got for you in this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Greatly appreciate you guys watching. Love the comments. Keep them coming. If you like what you see here, check out some of the content on the end screen. Nice kick, buddy. And we will see you guys in the next one. Ciao.